Hi there people, I'm going to make a few new video tutorials on creative coding and especially around bitmap graphics and in JavaScript as well, using and making your own libraries, tools and stuff like that, making your own routines instead of using out of the box paint, or it's nice. You have environment like processing, P5GS, that's real nice for starting coders. If you want to release stuff, you really want to have your own libraries and have all the rights as well, and like you can use fancy environments like Unity or the Unreal Engine or that kind of stuff. I really want to focus on bitmap graphics, old school. If you want to make maybe games like Stardew Valley more for really indie developers, you don't need any money or fancy video cards or expensive licenses, or like you can have an old laptop. I get an old laptop for free that's sort of too slow for Windows. I put Ubuntu on it, lightweight Linux version, and for free. And I can use it, make my own games or my first software. Like in the past, I had like old working with really old computers, making software for it, making 3D models for it, and making bank, selling, making money, enough money with crappy computers, so I could buy a new computer again. So you can really start for free, for almost nothing. I use, for this example, I use a free browser, of course. People say I use the Notepad Plus here as a text editor. It's also the open source to download. And I try to use open source software as well, free software to start for, so anybody can start. And people say, oh, you have to do WebGL or shaders or stuff like that. Yeah, it's okay. If you want to do 60 frames per second games, you want fast graphics. If you're making tools or models or anything you like, low bitmap graphics games, you can already do that in JavaScript. And you say, like for, in the past, I did code it in different languages, and always first you want to sort of access the screen, and yeah, you can make video games in JavaScript. Like this is an old sort of prototype of mine, also a video game. And you can make dynamic animations and background, dynamic 3D models. It's all in JavaScript. And yeah, it's basically once I've written this, I can port it to Unity or any other platform, or if it grows bigger, that kind of stuff. This was more kind of bucket list. I make like video games in the 80s already, also in machine code. I really had this drive. I was making sprites and graphics, and I really want to learn how to code. So it took me like 2 summer holidays, and I got my first games running, in machine code, and I was like, and later in life I did a lot of things, and like yeah, with making games was still on my bucket list, kind of thing. So I made another game in 2015, kind of prototype, and I played it recently, and it's a bit tough. When I look at it, at one moment, it's become not fun anymore. It's getting sort of a pain. So, like on level design, it should be also really like, yeah, really working. That the game should be fun. But anyway, it's the prototyping in JavaScript. I made several tools also, like to make 3D models, and in a browser kind of thing. You can sort of export this model, you know, to a Collada file, and then sort of render it in Blender, you know, kind of thing. So this WebGL back in the days 2014. You can yeah, make your own kind of tools, you know, and this is like, instead of making textures, sprites by hand, you can also generate it, you know, and also generate 3D models, and this is like a texture generation kind of thing. It's also known. I started with coding with to create like this also. Oh, this is also done all in JavaScript, you know, like the user interface. And yeah, you can sort of generate seamless textures as well, you know, and have different ones. So this is a real all texture generator. Yeah, you can do all kind of thing in JavaScript, make your own tools. So where we start? Well, I wrote some articles on fxhash. The first one is the going full screen, and that's always with the coding, like whatever language you use. Like if I start in C sharp or other platforms, Java, Flash and Mix, Unity. First, I want to sort of get access to the screen in Unity. Like I have a 3D texture map of a face, a rectangle, and I dynamically change the texture, so I can just put a screen in front of me in Unity, and then do the whole game as a texture, you know, as a dynamic texture that changes all around. Anyway, the basics, really minimal JavaScript. What's needed to get screen going full screen and getting a pixel on the screen? I copy this little post, this little source, first example, and what does it do? I save it, index.demo001.html, save. Run it. Yeah, here we go. And it's really minimal source in vanilla JavaScript to get something to the screen here. And I tell you quickly the basics. It's an HTML file with a piece of script here. And I can also just remove the script here. Say like hello world. Just this, you know. Save. Here we go again. Lol. Copy, paste. Make sure when you programming, make a lot of backups. Once it's working, once you make a screenshot, start saving with a new version or something, you know. So I have my demo here, everything is working. What I'm going to do next is make a new version, demo.2, you know. So I have the original working one, and the second one I'm going to play with, and basically is I'm going to explain you the little parts First, we get this routine. It's a sort of more technical thing. When the page is loaded, go to this routine. I can also use it different, in my window too. So I'm gonna say alert. Hello world. Boom. And basically, this is one time at the start when the page is loaded. It will do this routine, You can give any name. It's really handy when you start with HTML and JavaScript. You want to kick it off, And this is a easy way to sort of start my all scripts, animation. We start from here. So this is one time the init window thing, and here I do my basic init stuff, and then it jumps to my animation, and this is really, you can give this also any name you want, So basically what it does, this is also a technical thing. When your browser is down, you don't need to animate it, It doesn't take resources. This runs at 60 frames per second only when you open it, And when you close the screen or go to a different page, it won't run. So it's sort of energy friendly, It only runs when it does this. And you can also say like, well, it's important for running and looping in this animation. If you don't put this in, it won't draw, I think. See, it only draws one time and then stops. That's nice as well. But next, I get important in JavaScript. I get the width and height of the browser screen, and I can show you the example. It's really important technical thing I want, You have sort of technical stuff like this. This is really technical JavaScript jargon kind of thing. If you do this, you get the width of your window. So I'm going to show you. If I reload, it gives the width of the page and the height, This it's only one time now here. If I make the screen smaller, and reload, you see it makes it reacts to the browser size and the height, width and height, and I need that for drawing and my animation and presenting my thing, and also full screen if you want. Okay. So I get the width and height of the image here, JavaScript, and I get my canvas, and in the bottom here I have the canvas with an ID, my canvas. So I know I want to write in this one. So I'm going to select the canvas and set the canvas width and height, And I do my canvas working the same as the width and height of the browser screen, but it will get slowed down if I draw a lot of pixels, And you can also say like, I'm going to make this just 320 by 256, That's my canvas, this one. And next, I'm going to scale the canvas to the screen, And you see the ratio is not really more not really square, you know, but when you base it on the browser screen, it will get square or vertical, you know. I can also say like if my canvas small, and so I can say like image width is 320 or 32. It's my canvas width and height. And I'll make this. This is the second one, is scales it to the screen. I can also say like make it 8 times bigger, you know. That scales the second one. This is sets my canvas to a certain size, and this scales my canvas to the screen, you know. And I do it all in. I can also say scale to the whole screen. This is the scaling factor, so it scales it. And I can change it around. So I get more like lower res screen kind of thing. Well, I need to position, I do all the CSS and JavaScript directory now because I want to dynamically change the position and stuff for later on. So you can do it in the style sheets, but I do it directly now in JavaScript because I like that. These things are like positioning, and if I don't do this positioning minimal thing, it will make a scroll bar here, you know, and a little border, white border around it. So really, that fixes it. And also in JavaScript, if you don't do the image rendering pixelated, you get like these blurry graphics, you know, especially if you go real low res, you can see it really blurring. Sometimes I really want my pixels really sharp, and that's the trick to make it pixelated, you know. Okay, next is the drawing thing to the screen here. It's a real technical jargon as well for in JavaScript. Basically, what it needs, it creates an image of my image width and height, and then I draw pixels in it, you know. And it's now random color. I can do it also for every line instead of here, you know. Instead of X, I get sort of lines. And I can also say like, say this is red, green, and blue. So only cyan will draw now. See? And I can make the alpha that's more for the background color is white now. And if I make the alpha real small, it just shows the background color, you know. Or mostly I want to have it really not transparent, but you can make different layers, you know. You can have an animation going here. Also in different canvases, you can write in different canvases as well. I have like one canvas with my pixel animation stuff, one canvas for the background, user interface on top, you know. So you can have different layers as well. So, and in different resolutions as well, you know. So basically what it does, makes a screen and it needs a red, it needs a green next. These are like ints, and a blue and a transparency. And so for every pixel on the screen, it needs a red, green, and blue, and then alpha, and then it goes to the next pixel. And so the image data is like 4 times bigger than my image width and height, because anyway, this is a way to draw the thing and put the image to the screen, you know. And what it's also important, like I use mat random now. If I say like mat color, I get mat random gives a number between 0 and 1, and I do the times if I really want to correctly do it. Get the color between 0, it's black, and white is 255 or the highest for red, green, and blue. And with mat random, it gives a floating point number, you know. And I can do like a nice math round thing, but the JavaScript hack is just to add this, and it will remove all the floating point numbers, you know. Like I get real numbers, especially if you work with arrays or colors or bitmap graphics, and you really don't want floating points in here, you know. It probably would bug out if you don't do it. I can try, but I think it will freak out. Not sure. You don't want it, you know. But it's important to keep track. Uh, anyway, it's a simple trick. If I don't add this, working with floats, you know, and I really say like I want real numbers, I can do this quick hack. It makes it an int, you know. Okay. So like if you're throwing a dice, you know, and you get real numbers, you know, between 1 and 6, I think. Yes. So that's why I do this little part. It removes the floating point stuff, you know, because so often I don't need that or want that. Anyway, it's really basic. Draw some noise to the screen, and you can play around with this for a weird animation and stuff, you know. Uh, It's also for prototyping and debugging. Call is not defined, you know. So it's on the keyboard. You can check the console here. With F12 I do it mostly to change it. And you can sort of check Also the source stuff and stuff like that, you know. Copy it if you want. And it's nice, the console is nice for error checking. Or you just can undo a few times until it works again. Make sure you save often, also, you know, new versions, stuff like that, you know. And I can play with this. This is really the basic example, getting things to the screen. And I really next I want to have my own buffer, draw in and then put it to the screen, you know. This is really direct image manipulation. And yeah, you can all kind of weird stuff, you know. But that's in the next tutorial. So if you do this outside of the loop, it will just make one color, you know. And I can also do like if smaller than 0.1. Oh, nicey. Anyway, you can make sort of funny animations already, but I'm going next to do more nice drawing and stuff. This is basically getting to the screen and yeah, drawing to the screen in JavaScript, minimal source. Anyway, but I'm going to next tutorial soon. Okay, first part, take it easy and start coding, you know. Start making your own tools, your own libraries. You've got so much more creative freedom if you start to code on yourself, you know. And it's tough to get started, like learning how to drive a car, you know. But once you got it running, you can sort of start creative, you know. Like I have the technical stuff here, and then next I can make all kind of weird animations or fine tune till I get some noise I can record for a video or anything. Use noise for a background for a video clip or anything, you know. That's the fine tuning, color, and artistic part. But first you have to get things on the road, get things started. And this is really like yeah, the minimal to get animation full screen, you know. Okay, have fun. Going next to the next tutorial soon. I wish you a nice day.